On tonight's Gwinnett Prep Rally, the biggest game from Folkston to Hiawassee came out of Gwinnett County. Broncos and Rams for Region 8 supremacy. You know by now who won, but Todd and Will tell you how. Elsewhere, Brookwood had a pretty good Saturday morning on the cross-country trails. Winners and reactions coming up. Back to the rectangular fields, Norcross and Collins Hill, they're both playoff bound, but one team served notice in the second half that they are playoff ready. Be sure to catch those highlights, plus our first look at Lanier in a non-region tilt. That plus a recap of all the scores and scenarios on Gwinnett Prep Rally right now.
For more than 15 years, your source for Gwinnett County sports is Gwinnett Prep Rally.
Hello again and welcome to your county's original high school sports television program. This is Gwinnett Prep Rally, now in its 19th season, and we can be seen right here on GCPS TV for the entire 2011-2012 school year. I'm Todd Klein alongside Will Hammock from the Gwinnett Daily Post. And Will, there was a lot of hype leading up to the big Grayson Brookwood showdown that took place this past Friday night, and it seemed like the game more than lived up to those expectations.
It did. It was a very good football game, and like you said, a lot more people were interested in it this year, not just those two communities, but because those videos were so widespread, the trash talk videos, it really got a lot more people outside those communities interested in how that game turned out, and it didn't disappoint. I think the people that watched it on GPB really enjoyed it.
Well, we will have all the highlights from the Grayson versus Brookwood game in just a few minutes, but first up, the Region 7 and 8 cross-country championships took place this past Saturday in Duluth, with one school dominating Region 8 and a few surprises in Region 7. GPR's Jeff Batten has more.
It's the 2011 running of the Region 7 and Region 8 cross-country meet. Brookwood won both the boys and girls region titles this year. In Region 7, Peachtree Ridge's girls and Mill Creek's boys won the two-team titles. On the individual side, Norcross's Catherine Yost. Her win was something of a surprise. She pulled away from the field halfway into the race, and she won with a time of 19 minutes, 16 seconds.
I feel good. This is only my second race I've ever won, so it's really exciting, and I'm excited to potentially go to state with my team.
On the boys' side, the favorite was the champ. Peachtree Ridge's Josh Brickell wins the boys' race with a time of 15:58. He finished 7 seconds ahead of the second-place finisher and 12 seconds ahead of the third.
Early on, I was trying to pace with our number 2 guy, just try to pull him up there as far as I could, but then I had to get away at some point. So.
Now to the Region 8 girls, and its champion was a repeat. Caroline Kissel won her second consecutive crown with a time of 19:03. Her teammate Quandra Shanks finished second, which made the difference on the team side of things. Brookwood's girls will be seeking their first state title since 1991 next week.
I feel really good. It's my last race on this course, and so I just wanted to go out hard and go my best. And I think I did that, so I'm really happy.
And on the boys' side, Brookwood will be the odds-on favorite for its third straight and 11th overall state title next Saturday in Carrollton. Morgan Malinowski was the winner with a time of 16:04.
We just kind of sat back and just let some other guys do the work. There's a couple guys that went real hard, and we just kind of stayed behind them, and then whenever we felt good, we just kind of went.
Parkview Archer and Grayson will join Brookwood at the state championships next week at what should amount to a rerunning of Saturday's region meet. Or at least that's what Gwinnett cross-country fans are hoping.
Well, we saw some good performances in both those region meets. Let's first of all talk about Region 7, where it was a little bit spread out, a little bit more than it was in Region 8.
Yeah, it was an interesting meet. I think Catherine Yost beating the defending state champion Chloe Whitworth of Collins Hill. That was a big surprise, and you got to give props to the Mill Creek boys winning their first region title. That was a great win for those guys, and it's good to see. I think that shows that they're going to be a force at the state level.
Well, and we talk about Region 7 or Region 8 going to be some forces at that state level. Congratulations to Brookwood sweeping Region 8. Talk about how Brookwood, you think they'll fare, those two teams at state, and maybe just overall Gwinnett County at the state meet.
Yeah, I think the Brookwood boys, I think it's probably a no-brainer that they're going to win the state championship. Just a dominant team, and they're on one of the greatest runs in state history right now. Gwinnett has never, the Gwinnett boys team has swept the 5A title ever since that classification started in 2000. So the Brookwood boys should keep that going. I think on the girls' side, it could be any number of teams. And the Brookwood girls with Caroline Kissel, I think they're going to factor in. It'd be nice to see them win a state championship, and it's been a long time since the Broncos have won one on the girls' side.
Time now to turn our attention to football, and the Grayson Rams had a chance to clinch the Region 8 title this past Friday night, but they would face a tough task against last year's defending state champions, the Brookwood Broncos. GPR's Brian Wise has all the action from Loganville.
It was a defensive battle in Loganville Friday night between Grayson and Brookwood. First quarter, the handoff is to Robert Kendiche, who heads to the outside, cuts upfield, and gets a nice gain. Later in the drive, it's Nick Schuessler with the quick out to Marcus Lindquist, who breaks a tackle and gets brought down near midfield. Rams still driving. The give is to Wayne Galman, who gets around the edge and fights his way down inside the 15-yard line. Then it's set up a few plays later, this 7-yard touchdown run by Kendiche, who finishes off the 14-play, 78-yard drive by the Rams. Grayson up 7-0. Now, second quarter, Schuessler drops back to pass, feels the pressure, gets brought down by the Brookwood defense. Later in the first half, Rams threatening. It's Schuessler who rolls to his left. He's going to try and run for the touchdown. However, he gets stopped short of the goal line, and the clock continues to run. No timeouts for the Rams. They're going to try and rush the field goal unit out onto the field, but time expires and the Rams are unable to add to their lead. 7-0 is the score at halftime. Second half, Zach Moon drops back to pass, throws down the sideline, but right there for the interception is Shadow Fintang. On Brookwood's next possession, it's Moon again back to pass, throws deep down the right side, complete to BJ Salmon. Later in the drive, it's Moon again, complete in the flat to the tight end, Michael Gouge, bowls right over the defender and is going to stretch out into the end zone for the touchdown. The game now tied at 7. Brookwood with the ball, very late fourth quarter. Moon back to pass, gets flushed out of the pocket, underhand flip and right to Casey Gaines. Gaines has a pick six and the Rams are up 14-7. Last-ditch effort by the Broncos. Moon airs it out down the sideline, but the ball is batted down. Grayson wins a tight one, 14-7 over the Broncos.
Well, what a game there, Will. It looked like it was heading to overtime, and then Grayson just makes the big play inside the final 30 seconds.
Yeah, what a great finish if you're Grayson, and a horrible finish if you're a Brookwood fan. Just kind of a crazy way to end that game. Brookwood, you think you're going to overtime at the very least and trying to get something going there, and then you have a just kind of a silly miscue there and a great play by Casey Gaines to turn it around and give his team the win.
I think we all kind of expected Grayson. We know what we expect from them in the playoffs. This, even though it was a loss, what does this do for Brookwood? I know a lot of pundits have said now if Brookwood can hang with Grayson like this, then maybe Brookwood can be a force in these playoffs. Yeah,
we've heard a lot of that. I mean, Grayson's a nationally ranked team. They have an excellent defense. Offensively, Brookwood kind of kept the Grayson offense in check and showed a lot on the defensive side of the ball. I think obviously Brookwood had trouble with Grayson's defense moving the ball, but I think this shows that Brookwood can play. I think anybody from those top few teams in Region 8 can compete with anybody at the state level.
More highlights now. Norcross and Collins Hill are no longer in contention for the Region 7 championship, but both teams still had plenty to play for this past Friday night, with the winner securing the number 3 seed for the state playoffs and the loser falling to number 4. GPR's Nathan Shutter has more.
Norcross playing host to Collins Hill on a rainy Friday night. First quarter, Blue Devils threatening. Joseph Wilbur from the shotgun, and he fires a bullet to Tyler Williams for the touchdown to give the home team a 7-0 advantage. Later in the quarter, the Eagles will have an answer. Nick England takes the direct snap, breaking free into the secondary, and he is gone. Touchdown, Collins Hill, and we are all knotted at 7. Second quarter, Eagles knocking on the doorstep. Brett Sheehan finds a wide open Jordan Parker in the end zone for 6. Collins Hill up 14-7. More from the Eagles. Sheehan getting pressured, and he dumps it off to Justin Wyatt, who goes into the end zone untouched. Collins Hill in control up 21-7. Norcross needing a big play, and they go to Jason Kroon. He bobbles the ball, but able to reel it in, then somehow gets free from 3 would-be tacklers, and he is off to the races for the Blue Devil touchdown. The PAT was blocked. Eagles up 21-13 at the break. The second half would be all Norcross. Alvin Kamara taking it in from short distance. The 2-point conversion was good, and we are all tied at 21. Then it's Kamara taking the handoff one more time. He bursts free up the middle and into the secondary. He has one last defender to beat and just gets into the end zone for the touchdown, and Norcross takes a 28-21 lead. Fourth quarter, Blue Devils driving. Joseph Wilbur connects with Anthony Autry over the middle. He slips the tackle and takes off downfield for the touchdown, as Norcross scores 35 unanswered points to defeat Collins Hill by a final of 42-21.
Well, the start might not have been what Norcross was looking for, but the finish is kind of what we expected out of Norcross all season long. We said there in the opener that they are locked in at number 3 as the seed there. They will play Decula in the first round. My question is, even though that's a tough game against Decula, how does Norcross look for the state playoffs? This seems to be, when they're playing good football, that they could be a tough out in these playoffs. If
Norcross flips the switch like they did in this game, I think they can play with anybody in the state. They were a dominant team and had North Gwinnett beat. Their first 5 games looked great. Suddenly everything went wrong for a couple games. They had a lot of guys hurt. They really clicked it back on this week and really turned it on, and Collinsville suffered the brunt of that. But Norcross is just an excellent football team, a lot of talent, and when they put it together, they can play great and play with anybody at the state level.
All right, when we come back, we'll have highlights from the newest football program in Gwinnett, and we'll recap other gridiron action from around the county. Plus, we get into the mind of Will Hammock, and we unveil this week's building blocks. You are watching Gwinnett Prep Rally on GCPS TV. For 19 years, the county's high school sports television program.
For 2 decades, Coulter Sports has been making dreams possible for thousands of Gwinnett County student athletes.
Sometimes we've been over the top.
Thrill is gone.
Steve Coulter sings.
And the leader of the clan will take no prisoners on this day.
Sometimes we've been straight to the point.
Beverly Coulter is the most persuasive sporting goods salesman in Gwinnett County history, and that's including your son, Steve.
But most of all, we've cared deeply about every Gwinnett parent and student who walked through this front door.
Over all these years,
we thank you for your support.